Johnny. Bravo.
Put your arms around it.
You're good.
What's up? No, you guys can't be there because they're on a bicycle hill. Go up and down that side.
Okay, sorry. No worries.
nation in creation has its favorite drink. France is famous for its wine. It's beer in Germany. Turkey has its coffee, and they serve it like a vanilla. Russians go for vodka, and England loves its tea. Oh, the factories may be roaring with the boom-a-lacka, zoom-a-lacka wing. But there isn't any roar when the clock strikes 4. Everything stops for tea. Oh, a lawyer in the courtroom, in the middle of an alimony scene, has to stop and help him fall when the clock strikes 4. Everything stops for tea. It's a very good English custom, though the weather be cold or hot. When you leave a little pickup, find a little teacup, will always take the spot. You remember Cleopatra had a date to meet Mark Antony at 3. When it came an hour late, he said you'll have to wait, but everything's off the tree. Oh, the Navy plays football, and the crowd is young.
Righto, tubby old man. Just not my vitals, tubby old corpse are looking pretty blue round the rims. What happened?
I've been through hell, Bertie.
Oh, and what took you there? Tell me the story in your own words.
Alright. You know my views, not steak and kidney pie.
Yes, I say, did you enjoy it?
Enjoy it? I barely got to smell it.
What do you mean, tubby old scat?
Well, I went down to the larder, fished out with 1 or 2 of the trifles to complement the flavour, when sushi I were into, but you're wrong there.
I say, what did you say?
Nothing at first. Then your uncle came down, brandishing a rather dangerous-looking firearm.
Yes, he's always been skittish about burglars since he found the scullery window open one night. Since then, he's had iron bars put in all the windows.
What?
Iron bars in the windows, sort of forming an iron grill as worn by the tougher kind of medieval castle.
What do I care about the windows?
Never mind. Was there anyone else there?
Well, I should say there was. Angela came down with your uncle. She called me a python and said I should accuse me of regularly eating an indecent amount of food and pointed to the steak and kidney pie as proof of my gluttony.
I said.
That's what hurt, Bertie. I hadn't so much as started on that pie. And that's a woman all over. Bertie, shall I tell you something?
Charge ahead, tubby old man.
Up to the time Angela went away to Collins, she was devoted to me. I was the blue-eyed boy in every sense of the word. You admit that?
Indisputably.
Then presently she comes back and we have this bustle about nothing.
Why, nothing, tubby, you have been tactless about a shark.
I was frank and candid about the shark. And that's exactly my point. Do you seriously think that a trifling disagreement on sharks would make a girl turn her hat to the man if her heart was really his?
Certainly.
Right! That argument was just a pretext. She wanted to get rid of me and grabbed the first excuse.
But why should Angela want to get rid of you?
That's the question I've been asking myself. And here's the answer. It's because she's fallen in love with some of the foul Bristers she met while she was at Cannes. Think about it. She goes to Cannes all for me. She comes back from Cannes all off me. There's no other possible solution.
Tubby old man, if you don't mind me saying so, you have an idée fixe.
Or what?
An idée fixe. You know, one of those things fellows get. like Uncle Tom's delusion that anyone who's even slightly known to the police is lurking in the kitchen garden waiting to break into the house. You keep insisting that someone stole Angela from you at Cannes, and I can assure you that no one stole Angela from you at Cannes, and I'll tell you why I'm so sure. It just so happens that during that sojourn in Cannes, Angela and I were practically inseparable. If someone had been nosing around her, I should have spotted it immediately.
Oh. She was with you the whole time, was she?
Yes, I doubt she said 2 words to anyone else.
So, anything in the nature of moonlight strolls was conducted solely in your company?
Yes, that's right. It was quite a joke for her to tell.
You must have enjoyed that.
Yes, I did, rather. I've always been devoted to Angela.
Oh, yeah?
When we were kids, she used to call herself my little sweetheart.
She did she?
Yes, absolutely.
Breakfast.
I say, Jeeves, did you happen to notice Tommy as he passed by?
Yes, sir. Mr. Glossop's face appeared to me to be sicklied over with a pale cast of thought.
Quite. Yes, he met Angela in the larder last night, and rather a painful scene ensued. She appears to have been quite caustic about fat men who live for food alone.
Most distressing, sir.
In fact, many people would say that things had gone so far between these two that nothing could bridge the chasm. Wouldn't people say that, James?
Undoubtedly, sir.
They would be wrong.
Do you think so, sir?
I am convinced of it. I know these girls, Jeeves, you can't go by what they say.
You think Miss Angela's strictures should not be taken too much au pied de la lettre, sir?
Jeeves. What is au pied de la lettre?
In English, we should say it literally, sir.
Literally, that's exactly what I mean. I know these females, Jeeves, a passing tip and they shoot their heads off, but underneath the old love still remains. All that is needed to bring the old love whizzing to the surface once more is the proper treatment.
By proper treatment, sir, you mean...
Clever handling, Jeeves. Let us suppose, Jeeves, that you are strolling in the illimitable jungle and happen to chance upon a tiger cub.
The contingency is a remote one, sir.
Never mind, let us suppose it. Let us now suppose that you sloshed that tiger cub. And let us further suppose that word reached its mother that it was being put upon. In what frame of mind would you expect that tigress to approach you?
I should anticipate a certain show of annoyance, sir.
And rightly, Jeeves, due to what is known as the maternal instinct, what?
Yes, sir.
Let us now suppose, Jeeves, that for some days there has been some coolness between these two. Let us say, for example, that they have not been on speaking terms. Do you think this will make any difference to the vim with which the latter will leap to the former's aid?
No, sir.
Exactly. Here, then, Jeeves, is my plan. I shall draw Angela aside and roast Tuppy properly.
Roast, sir?
Knock, slam, tick off, abuse, denounce. I shall be very terse about Tuppy. What will ensue? Angela's womanly heart will be sick as mud, and she will not remember that there have ever been any differences between them. She will simply remember that he is the man she loves, and she will leap to his defense. From there, to falling into his arms and letting the dead past bury its dead is but a step.
The idea is an ingenious one, sir.
We Woosters are ingenious, Jeeves, exceedingly ingenious.
Yes, sir.
By lunchtime, I should imagine, everything will be hotsy-totsy once more, and what an agreeable thought that is.
Very true, sir.
Right, so much for the western front, Jeeves. We now turn our thoughts to the eastern.
Sir?
I speak in parables, Jeeves. What I mean is that we now turn our attention to the Gussie and the Bastard.
Yes, sir.
Here, more direct methods are required. Psychology won't get us anywhere. You, if I may remind you without hurting your feelings, fell into the air of mucking about with psychology in connection with this sphinx. The result was a total washout. You attempted to push him over the line by rigging him out in some Mephistopheles costume, your viewing being that scarlet tights would embolden him. Futile.
The matter was never actually put to the test, sir.
And that strengthens my argument, Jeeves. A man who can get in a cab, headed for a fancy dress ball, and not get there, is manifestly a goop of no common order. Augustus Fignall would never have had the courage to ask Madeline Bassett to be his wife. All that would have happened is she would have received that lecture on newts a few days earlier. And do you know why, Jeeves? Shall I tell you why?
Yes, sir.
Because he would have been attempting the hopeless task of trying to do the thing on orange juice.
Sir?
Because he is an orange juice addict who drinks nothing else.
I was not aware of it, sir.
I have it from his own lips. He has never put so much as pushed the sip this gin and tonic of the old larynx. And he, this wobbling, shrinking, diffident rabbit in human form, he expects to ask Madeline Bassett to be his wife. One hardly knows whether to smile or weep, Jeeves.
You consider total abstinence a handicap to a gentleman who wishes to make a proposal for marriage, sir?
My dash it, Jeeves, use your intelligence, of course it is. Reflect on what proposal means. It means that a decent, self-respecting chap has got to listen to himself saying things that, if spoken on the silver screen, would cause him to rush to the box office and demand his money back. Trying to do the thing on orange juice, not ensues. Shame seals his lips, or he loses his morale and begins to babble. Gussie, as we have seen, babbles of syncopated hymns.
Palmated, sir.
Palmated or syncopated, doesn't matter which. The point is that he babbled, and will babble again, and as proper steps are taken. Which is why, Jeeves, I intend to secure Gassie's lunch and orange juice and lace it with gin liberally.
If you will forgive me for saying so, sir, the action which you propose does seem to me a little injudicious. It is not always an easy matter to gauge the effect of alcohol on a subject unaccustomed to such a stimulant.
What, Jeeves? Gassie's but a goop who needs a snootful as bad as any man ever did. I shall lace the orange juice. There's only one way of dealing with this difficult problem, and that is the way I've outlined.
Very good, sir.
Now, I propose to put this project through this afternoon. Do you know why, Jeeves?
Because you feel, if it is done when it is done, then where it were done quickly, sir.
Partly, Jeeves, but not altogether. My chief reason for fixing the date as specified is that the Market's Nodsbury Grammar School distribution of prizes is today.
In fact, you will be killing two birds with one stone, sir.
Exactly, Jeeves. A very neat way of putting it. Now, on second thought, it would be better for you to lace the juice, not me.
Sir?
Jeeves.
But, sir,
Don't say but, Jeeves.
I fear, sir.
I fear, sir, is just as bad.
What I'm endeavoring to say, sir, is that I'm sorry. But on this occasion, I must enter into an unequivocal noli prosequi.
A what?
The expression is a legal one, sir, signifying the resolve not to proceed with the matter. Eager as I am, as a general rule, to acquiesce in your wishes, on this occasion I must respectfully decline to cooperate.
You won't do it, you mean?
Precisely, sir.
Jeeves, I had not expected this of you.
No, sir.
You'll permit me to observe, Jeeves, that although I realize lacing Gassie's orange juice is not one of those duties for which you draw the monthly stipend, this is scarcely the feudal spirit.
I am sorry, sir.
It's quite all right, Jeeves. I am not angry, only a little hurt.
Very good, sir. Will that be all, sir?
Now, see if you can get my cousin Angela and bump her in here.
Very good, sir.
Hello, Bridget, darling.
Hello, Angela, girl.
Your man Jeeves said you wanted to speak with me.
Yes, I have much to say to you that is not for the public ear.
Well, I hope it doesn't take too long. I have to go to the Stretchley Buds this afternoon. Hilda Stretchley Bud asked me to stop on and help with arrangements for the servants' ball tonight. Couldn't well decline since the Brickley Court domestic will be there.
I say, a jolly night's revelry might be just what is needed to take Anatol's mind off things and cheer him up.
Anatole isn't going. Mother tried to encourage him to go, but he simply shook his head sadly and muttered something about returning to Provence when it's appreciated.
Bad news that, Uncle Tom will be in an awful way if he carries out that threat.
Mother, too. Anatole's the only chef who can cope with father's indigestion.
Too true. Well, Angela, girl, I've heard all about your little dust up the tuppy. So wedding bells are definitely not going to ring out, what?
No.
Well, Angela, if you want to know my opinion, I think that's a bit of goose for you. It's a mystery to me how you stood him so long.
I always thought you were such friends.
Friends? Ha! Never. One was civil, of course, when one met the fellow, but friends? No. A club acquaintance and a mere one at that. And then one was at school with the fellow.
At Eden.
Good heavens, no, we wouldn't have a fellow like that at Eden. At a kid's school before I went there. A grubby little brute he was, too, covered in ink and mire generally, washing only on alternate Thursdays. In short, a notable outsider shunned by all. Ask anyone of the drones, and they will tell you that the fellow was a bounder and a tick. And the moment he showed signs of wanting to be let into the club, he should have been met with a firm noli prosequi and heartily blackballed. In addition to looking like one of those things that come out of hollow trees, he is universally admitted to be a dumb brick of no common order. No soul, no conversation. In short, any girl who was rash enough to get herself engaged to Tuppy Glossop and was able to slide out of it at the 11th hour ought to consider herself dashed lucky.
Yes, you're quite right.
What?
Just what I've been thinking myself.
What?
Dumb brick. It just describes him. It's so nice, Bertie, talking to someone who takes a sensible view of that man Glossop. Mother says he's a decent chap, which is simply absurd. Anybody can see he's absolutely impossible. He's conceited and opinionated and very loud, and he argues all the time, even when he knows perfectly well that he's talking through his hat. And he smokes too much, and he drinks too much, and he eats too much. And I don't like the colour of his hair. Not that he'll have any hair in a year or two, because he's pretty thin on top already. And before he knows where he is, he'll be as bald as an egg. And he's the last one who can afford to go bald. And I think it's simply disgusting the way he gorges all the time. Well, I can't stop stopping here all day talking about men who aren't worth wasting a word on, and haven't even got enough sense to tell a shark from a flatfish. I'm going.
Sir!
Tubby, you here?
Yes, you're all.
Have you been here long? Aha! Fine, I wanted to see you.
Well, you're all. Come out from behind there.
No, I don't think I will, Tubby, old man. It seems to rest the spine.
In about 10 seconds, I'm going to kick your spine off the top of your bloody head.
Oh, yes, I think I know what's on your mind, Tubby. If you were behind that chair during my recent conversation with Angela...
I was.
Well, we won't go into the ethics of the thing, Tubby, old man. Eavesdropping, some might call it. A bit un-English, Tubby, old man.
I'm Scotch.
Oh, Tubby, one doesn't suspect a man of being Scotch unless he's Max something and says, oh, hi. Hey, you can tell me something that has puzzled me very much. What exactly is it that they put into haggis? But, however, haggis is a side issue. To return to the main, you were behind that chair and you heard what I was saying about you. No doubt you were surprised.
Not a bit. It was just the sort of thing I expected a treacherous, sneaking hound like yourself to say.
But why, Tubby? Why should I not choose Angela?
You think I don't know? It's because you're in love with Angela yourself.
Tubby, you've come unscrewed. This is pure banana oil.
Oh, yeah?
I've known Angela since she was so high, and she's my cousin. One doesn't fall in love with close relations one has known since they were so high. Me in love with Angela, ha!
You can't harp your way out of it. She calls you darling.
In a purely cousinly spirit. You must know, Tubby, that in the deeper and truer sense, I wouldn't touch Angela with a barge pole.
Oh, what? Not good enough for you?
Get me. What I mean is, on my relations with Angela, although cordial, will always be distant friendship.
Listen, you can't get away from the facts. Someone stole her from you while she was at Karl's. You yourself admitted to being the only one who saw her while she was there. So now you can see, why the second I get through this blasting sofa, I'm going to tear you limb from limb. Why they have these barley sofas in the room is beyond me. They only look why?
Oh, Tubby, you don't understand. During my sojourn in Cannes, my relations with Angela were purely wholesome camaraderie. I can prove it. During that sojourn in Cannes, my affections were engaged elsewhere.
What?
Affections engaged elsewhere.
Who was she?
My dear Tubby, does one bandy a woman's name?
One does if one doesn't want one's bloody head pulled off.
Matt Bassett.
What? You're in love with that Bassett disaster?
I wouldn't call her a Bassett disaster, Tubby, not respectful. A charming girl, a bit hot-odd in some of her views, perhaps. One does not quite see eye to eye with her on the subject of stars and God's daisy chain, but not a Bassett disaster.
Anyway, you stick to it that you were in love with her.
It is not 24 hours since she turned me down.
She turned you down?
Like a bedspread.
24 hours.
Make it 12. Dude, you readily see, Tubby, old man, I can't be the chap, if any, who stole Angela from you at Cannes.
Right then. Sorry you were troubled.
Don't mention it.
Not fat.
I'm not.
And what's wrong with the colour of my hair?
Nothing. Quite novel.
And it isn't a bit thin on the top. What are you laughing at?
No, I was just thinking of how Angela must see you. Fat in the middle and thin on the top. What? But you mustn't take all that guff of hers too literally, Tubby. You know what girls are like.
I do. And I wish I never met one.
No, but Tubby, you must realize that Angela must have seen you behind that chair and ticked you off just to score one over on you. I'm sure she loves you still, Tubby.
You really think so?
I do, Tubby.
Bertie, if you see Mr. Mossop anywhere, I wish you would give him these. He must be hungry, poor fellow. It's nearly 10 o'clock and he hasn't had a morsel since breakfast. I'll just leave them here. How still and peaceful of
Ladies and gentlemen, I do not detain you all. But on this occasion, I feel compelled to say a few auspicious words.
What's that, Gussie? Lovely day, is it?
They auspicious words. Nice words. Fantastic words.
I have good news for you, Gussie.
Has Market Snodsbury Grammar School burned down?
Not that I know of, no.
Have mumps broken out? Is the place closed on account of the measles?
No, I don't believe so.
Then what do you mean to say you have good news?
Gussie, I can't believe you're making such a fuss about a laughably simple job like distributing prizes at a rotten country grammar school.
Laughably simple, eh? I'll have you know, for the past few days I've been sweating over what I'm going to say at this prize giving, and all I've come up with is I won't detain them long. You bet I won't detain them long. I've timed my speech and it lasts about 5 seconds. Good mind to take up that idea of yours and have a drink.
Oh, you'll be all right.
Oh, how do you know I'll be all right? I'm sure to blow up in my lines.
Tut.
Or drop a prize. Tosh. Or something. I can feel it in my bones. I shall be a mockery and a scorn. And you, fully cognizant of the position I'm in, sit there babbling on about good news.
Well, I mean, I have good news, Gussie. I mean about Miss Bassett.
You can't have good news about that. I dished myself there.
No, you haven't. Didn't she say you were the man she loved?
She did, but last night will have changed all of that.
No, not a bit. She knows you simply got the cold feet.
Yes, and I should get cold feet if I tried again. Look, Bertie, fate made me the sort of person who can't say boo to a goose.
It's not a question of saying boo to a goose. It's simply a question of...
Oh, I know. But look, Bertie, it's no use because I will not risk a repetition of last night's fiasco. Now, if you'd be a good chap and leave me in peace, I'd like to compose my speech. Rudimentary work.
Yes, Jeeves? You have the air of one about to make a remark.
Oh, no, sir. I merely note that you are in the possession of Mr. Finknuddle's orange juice. I was just about to observe that, in my opinion, it would be injudicious to add spirit to it.
Jeeves? Injudicious? I distinctly remember making it clear.
Because I have already attended to the matter, sir.
What?
Yes, sir. I decided after all to acquiesce in your wishes.
Jeeves, I am touched.
Thank you, sir.
Touched and gratified.
Thank you very much, sir.
What caused this change of heart?
I chanced to encounter Mr. Finknuddle in the passageway this morning, and we had a brief conversation.
Ah, and you came away feeling that you needed a bracer.
Yes, sir. Mr. Finknuddle's attitude struck me as defeatist.
Defeatist sums it up to a nicety. So we must act, Jeeves. How much gin did you put in the OJ?
A liberal tumblerful, sir.
Do you think that should be the medium dose for an adult defeatist?
I fancy it should prove adequate, sir.
I wonder, are you spoiling the ship for a half load of tar, what? I shall add another fluid ounce or so.
I would not advocate it, sir.
Jeeves, you are falling into your old neglecting the direct approach to the more psychological. I shall add the ounce.
Very good, sir.
47 red-headed sailors, sailing up and down the Briny. What ho, Bertie? What ho, what ho, and what ho again. Oh, what a beautiful world it is, Bertie, one of the nicest I've ever met. See, you will be happy to know that I've taken your advice, and it works perfectly. I feel like fighting cock, Bertie.
You've been having a drink.
Yes, as you advised. Nasty stuff, unpleasant, burns the throat as it goes down, and makes one thirsty as the dickens. But I'll be the last to deny that it tunes up the system. There, I could fight a tiger. Now, the question is where.
What did you have?
Whiskey. At least, that was the label on the decanter, and I doubt that a woman like your aunt, staunch, true blue and British, would deliberately deceive the public. No.
Whiskey and soda, eh? You could not have done better.
Soda! I knew I had forgotten something.
You mean you didn't put any soda in?
No, it never occurred to me. You see, I just nipped into the dining room and drank out of the decanter.
How much did you have?
About 10 swallows. 12 maybe, or 14. let's just say 16 medium-sized gulps.
I'm glad you're listening. Brace!
No, brace, Bertie. Did I say goodbye to Tiger?
You mentioned it, yes.
Well, me too, Tigers. See, Bertie, I can chew holes in a steel door. Why I was so nervous this morning, I can't imagine. I mean, it's a simple potty job, like distributing prizes at a rotten little grammar school. See, it's so laughably simple. I mean, I just nip up the platform, drop a few gracious words, hand the little blighters their prizes, and hop here. There. Admired by all. See, Bertie, I should be a riot. I know just the sort of stuff that's needed, too. Simple, manly, optimistic stuff straight from the shoulder. This shoulder. Oh, why I was so nervous this morning, I can't imagine. I mean, I was nervous, but now I feel fine, Bertie. Fine. Bertram, I tell this to you as an old friend. Because that's what you are, old man. An old friend. Such an old friend that I don't think I've ever met an older friend. I mean, really, Bertie, how long have you been an old friend of mine?
Years and years.
Imagine. But you see, there must have been a time when he was a new friend. Gosh, what a thirst I have, Bertram. I think I'll run down to the kitchen. Orange. Oh.